Okay, so today I want to use the card deck I made to predict the future of art. The card deck is not finished yet. It's only got 16 cards now, but I plan to update uh, more things into the deck. So I chose artists and academics and art movement locations and materials that I think are very relevant to the contemporary art now, and it could serve as like a lighthouse to guide us how to move the art forward. And now I'm going to share my screen because I imported the cards into a video game called Tabletop Simulator, and so you guys can see me like choosing and flip cards here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, yeah. It
Okay,
works.
yeah. So this is the game, and I use this. This is my cards. So I'm going to demonstrate here first how I'm going to use this deck to predict the future of art. So I'm going to choose 3 cards from this. Okay, I'm just going to choose some random. And so the first card would be about the past, second card would be present, and third card is future. The first card is it's an academic called Benedict Savoy. Second card is a material that I picked, which is AI. Third card is Dhaka Art Summit, which is a kind of artist collective. Um, so the first card, this academic, I think it's in last year. She is an art historian. She and another economist wrote a report for the French government to talks about that. Actually, they think the French government should return what the collections, the work in their collections that actually belongs to the, I think, African community. And the president agreed, and they in the end they returned all the pieces back to the country they belong to. So it's actually she was saying that actually from the last century we were already like talking about these kind of problems. So the success of her report is not just like very sudden, but it's started from very long time ago. It's like you are shaking a can of Coca-Cola, because it has been shaking for so long time. Now even just a very small action is exploded, and this the results of her report caused like very wide social impacts. So not only in France, the discussion started to happen in other European countries and in America too. They are talking about like the restitution of uh, the artifacts, the artwork, and it's actually quite relevant to the the Black people problems in US. So I think the past, because these cards represent the past. So I think this card tries to tell us about that, okay, the past, there are a lot of historical problems related to many things like gender or race, and artists were trying to resolve it. So, and the middle card is about the present. And this card is AI, artificial intelligence, and I picked GPT-3 as I think is the most recent example of artificial intelligence, like how it can create very I don't know, strong work, that because it has the essay, the GPT-3 wrote, the philosophy essay looks just exactly the same as how human wrote. So this card talks about how at the present, more and more like new kind of artificial intelligence, the techniques are developed not only in GPT-3, but I also read before, like just recent, I think some students, they developed a kind of software that can generate the traditional Chinese paintings in a way that it just looks like exactly the same as real paintings. So how we can use this technology to create art, and I think more artists start to collaborate with people from the technology department. And of course, you can see the keywords I wrote down there. I also wrote about post-humanism and accelerationism. So yeah, like there are fears that artificial intelligence it probably can cause some negative effects on human society, and yeah, but also could be good. So this is what we can think about for now. And the future of the future card is Dhaka Art Summit, which is a summit that happened in last year. So in this art summit, they talked about a lot of things were happening. The exhibitions and discussions, workshops, and people from all kinds of cultures came there, and there are just a lot of spontaneous encounters, and they tries to just talk about how to change the world of art. And it's this kind of people who organize this are very the grassroots. It's very like out of the big institutions. So I like people couldn't imagine that this art summit happening in Southeast Asia actually could attract so many people from all over the world. So I think these cards putting in the future position represents that the artists would like more and more work in a kind of community. We will stand together to form like artist collective, and we need to understand the perspectives and artwork that is from other culture, and we need to put our work in different contexts. So yeah, this is my demonstration is finished, and if anyone wants to ask the questions, for example, about your art practice, or if you want to know the future of art that's from like your perspective, because you would pick different cards from me, and the future would be changed based on your practice or your participation as an audience. You can ask me too, and you can pick either one card or three cards. So one card is just about you have like a question that you really want to know the answer. So the one card would be like a very quick to answer that question. And three cards is more about like past, present, and future. Like it offers more perspectives to tell you like about the situation and what maybe you can do. Um, yeah. So, is anyone wants to ask questions?
Hey, Kian-Lin. Hi.
Hi, Michael.
Thanks for your presentation. It's cool. Really, really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see if you can tell me
Yeah.
if I will be able to economically survive as an artist.
So do you want to choose one card or three cards?
I think, well, let's try it with one card.
Okay. I'm going to try to use my psychic power to answer your question. Okay. And which card are you going to choose from this?
I'll take, well, let's take the first one.
The first one from
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Ah, interesting.
I know that one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think. Okay, so these cards, forensic architecture. It's a kind of a research group based on the University of London, and the team actually includes people from all different kind of disciplines, like scientists, archaeologists, artists, just all kind of people. And what they do is they try to recreate they use the technology to try to recreate the architecture to investigate the events that is about the social injustice, violence, and things that are against the human rights. And often the data about what has happened is not really accessible for people like them or us. It's only like belong to the government. So instead of only using those data, they also tries to engage with uh, like what is government's actions, what does the media tell us, and how and they try to make forums for people to discuss, and also tries to engage with museums, galleries, and citizens. So they also use these kind of architecture models to help the witness to remember what has happened. And
they're, yeah,
yeah, you
they're
can go.
actually, yeah, they actually, they solve real life crimes with their work.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're
Uh,
kind of an investigation squad as well.
yeah. So Let me see. I think what's is like the famous thing they have investigated. Okay, so in 2020, it's included a partnership with Bellingcat to map police violence as Black Lives Matter protests in the US. And it also reconstructs events in the 2011, the shooting of Mark Duggan by British police. And in 2019, they have the investigation into the killing of Turkish human rights lawyer, the Tar Elsi. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So yeah, they did a lot of that kind of things. So I think this card is about the investigation and analysis, question about the truth, and collaborates with people from different areas. I think especially, I don't know, scientists and architects, which is like different from the art. And it's also about the reconstruction of memory. So in terms of your question, I would say that the economic situation of your practice, it would be improved, I think, if you could collaborate with people who are like outside of the art field, and also question about the truth that governments and media tells you, and also if you could use art to help people who suffered like the social injustice. Yeah, this is just like my.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Oracle. Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
But the strange thing is, I only discovered that group yesterday, and it's so strange that I just picked that card. Yeah.
How did you discover that?
It was during our talk with Betty that I came upon that.
Oh yeah, because I was talking about it with Patty on Tuesday, so maybe that's how she.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for asking the question. Is anyone else wants to ask anything else? Anything is welcome. Anything you want to know about, I don't know, your future or the future of this world, or if you're, I don't know, someone asked me a question before that. He was saying that he felt the art is, many artists was very underrepresented now, and he felt angry about it, and he was asking me, so will there be more artists that make work about elephant? It was a difficult question, but yeah, even that kind of question, I could try. So,
hi, Jillian.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, it's So-Young. Thank you for your performance. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you, is that question has to be answered in yes or no?
No, it could be, because I think the prediction never has like a yes or no. I'm just trying to offer some perspectives.
So my question is, in the future, where am I gonna live at?
Where you are gonna live?
Yes. I mean,
okay.
it's gonna be foreign country, Europe, America, Africa, or Asia.
Okay. So do you want to choose just one card or three cards?
Can I choose 3 cards, please?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yes.
So which cards do you want to choose in this deck?
First of all, third one. From the left, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And the last one.
Okay.
And the fourth one from the left.
So this one?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Whew.
Okay, let's see. So this one is the, oh, wait. This is, okay. Okay, so the past is, she is academic.
Mm-hmm.
Then the present is the artist collective that I just talked about. And then the future is also a kind of artist collective. Okay, let me think about it for a moment. Okay, so this Donna Haraway, she is academic, which is feminist and also postmodernist, and she wrote things that is about. I think the most famous one she wrote is the Cyborg Manifesto, and her recent book is called Staying with the Trouble, Making King in the Cthulhu's. So she thinks that we should have like a society that doesn't have hierarchy, doesn't have gender, doesn't have identity, and we collaborate with others not based on our identity but based on the affinity. And she so she the manifesto she wrote was like a response to the rising conservatism during the 1980s in the US, because the women don't really they were like opposing women to engage with the other important fields. But like as a cyborg, you don't really have like a stable identity. If we are cyborg, we all share the same information. So cyborg can understand different perspectives at once because everything is shared. And so she was trying to say that in that way, because we don't have like a essentialist identity, everyone can understand each other. So she tries to imagine like a world that is everyone is connected with machine. But of course, like cyborg as an idea is more interesting to her than it's more like a source experiment rather than she was trying to make it become true, you know. And also she was talking about that how women should engage more in the techno science area, because a lot of science is written by males, so they often depicts on like for example, the origin of human or origin of species is starts from like a competition between males, and the females are always in the kind of passive receptive position. However, the female scientists may probably focus on different observations and perspectives in the origins of nature. So that's why female there should be more female scientists, so that we can hear like a different story. So I think that this cards in the past probably represents that it was like, because cyborg is like a very kind of, it doesn't have a clear boundaries. Everything is like keep moving. So probably in the past it means where you live at, your location is not that clear. It's keep moving. It doesn't have like a stable boundary, or it's like your permanent home. And then middle card, the Dakar Art Summit, I think it's actually quite resonates with your situation now, because you're in MAFA, and I think MAFA is a place that everyone from different culture, we came to share different perspectives, and especially the festival we are doing now is very, I think it's quite similar to Dakar Art Summit they created. Of course, it's not as big as that, and not so many people are involved, but I think the core is the same, that we just want to talk together to try to solve the problems in the art world. So I think what he's trying to say now is that now everything is kind of is in the discussion. You need to have perspectives or discussion with people that are maybe totally different, to see what their opinion about your future or where you live, and through the discussion with them, you probably in the end will find, oh, I might want to go there. And with the last one, the Green Papaya Arts Project, it's a I think it's an artist collective in the Philippines. It's founded in 2000, and it started from that in the Philippines, because the government controls the culture departments. So if artists wants to gain the autonomy, it's very hard for them to do that. So that's why they created this alternative space that artists decide how their work will be shown. And the founder of this project, he was also talking about that how artists should involve more in politics, like democracy, and how to change the cultural department in the country, because it shouldn't just be controlled by the politicians, but artists should be active in that area too. So I think that this card represents that in the future you should have a space that you feel you have control with. You can do what you want to do there. And I think in terms of your question about like which area you might live with, I would think you would be based in Asia, but of course you still will have connections with people from like Europe and US, and probably sometimes travel back and forth. Yeah, that's my interpretation.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions or thoughts?
Papaya or green papaya?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, green papaya, they just like provide space to for anyone who needs it, like a very collaborate and just share their resources. Anyone who needs like projector, will just borrow it. So I would think that you probably would want some kind of live in some kind of community.
And I love the card, Donna Haraway. It's amazing. The explanation was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I love what she said as well, because I always think that the problem is that we I don't know, like I don't have enough research, but what I thought about gender was, I think if the society doesn't say what women should do, what men should do, then as a woman, I also can behave like a man. I also can do what men can do. Then there's no issue with my physical sex, because it doesn't limit me to do something I want to do. And I don't know if this might be incorrect, but I think that maybe people who want to change their gender is because they can't do what they want to do. You have to like change your sex maybe so you can do what another gender can do. And if we are cyborg, for example, as what she imagined, there is no so much like physical difference, so everyone could just have the freedom to be the person they want to be. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you to you. And anyone else who wants to ask?
Hi.
Hi.
Can I ask where my art practice might lead? I don't know if that's too broad of a question.
Can you tell me about your art practice?
Yeah, I'm I don't know how much detail to go in, but yeah, I'm a painter and a sculptor, and I
Yeah.
work a lot with sort of like earth material at the moment.
And what's your practice about? Like what kind of theme or your concerns?
Sort of it's mainly to do with material, so linking like the human body to material and sort of grounding quite a lot.
Okay. Do you have like pictures of your like your work to share with us? Or do you
Yeah,
feel okay? Yeah.
I'll try and find some stuff.
Yeah. So how many years have you been like starting the practice?
Well, this is actually I just saw it on my timetable. This is my first year at uni. So I'm like
That's
I'm
great.
only just starting.
So what do you feel about the course? Like are you like confused
Yeah,
where
I am. I'm really confused, to be fair, with with all this COVID stuff not helping. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I just find it so tricky to like meet people at the moment because it's all online.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel the kind of things I chose for the deck are I think I focus on more like how the artist can activate their practices outside of the gallery, and how we can think about locations or materials we can use that are maybe not so bounded with, like we have to have space in gallery, or then we can show our work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry for being so slow. I'm just trying to find stuff on my phone.
Okay, no worries. Take your time. So why do you like feel maybe lost in the practice, or like don't know where you should go?
I think it's.
Is it about like the I don't know if your teacher or your environment didn't give you enough feedback, or you think you don't have enough knowledge on it, or what kind of things?
I think, yeah, it's kind of a mix, really. It's also, I feel like where I am at the moment, because I'm not, obviously I'm stuck at home, not having people like you guys around, like not having the sort of that environment.
Okay, I see the photos. So your practice is mainly like painting and sculpture?
Yeah, I'm sort of leading that. I'm trying to lead more into sculpture because I'm just handing in for unit 2. So I thought it'd be good to get like this card reading to see like maybe what unit 3 might bring or something like that.
Okay. And your work is about you said things like it's about how human body with the connection with materials.
Yeah, it's quite like, I won't go too deep because I'm sure lots of other people want to talk. But yeah, I use materials. Well, I'm looking at using like iron because it links to blood in the body, and sort of like metals and materials like that. And yeah, and like mud and earth, because you can obviously make quite a lot of like, I'm into action painting, so like indents and imprints, which is like the muddy thing I had on there.
Okay, so which cards do you want to choose?
Can I pick the third on the left?
Third on the left. Okay.
Yeah, that one. And then the second from the one you just took.
Second, this one.
No. So where the gap is, and then move over one more. That one,
this
yeah.
One.
And then second from the last. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So the past, okay, it's the same as what I chose before. The second is Ron Grappa, which is artist collective, and the future is the same as last time. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the middle one first. So let me think about it. Evaldus, can you mute your phone, please?
Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah, thank you. So the middle one, Ron Grappa, I'm not sure if I pronounce it right. It's a Jakarta-based collective established in 2000. It's a non-profit organization which just like supports artists practice. And now the people there is like the art director of the document 15, which will happen in next year. So the founder of this organization was by artist Dharmawan, also by with the architect and designer Hafiz and the writer Augustine. So it's trying. They start this organization because they don't have enough the support in their country. They don't have the infrastructure support. Also, they don't. The arts there are not as developed as Western countries, so they don't have the opportunities to discuss about contemporary arts, or even continue their arts practices in the Jakarta and Indonesia. So they created this space, this organization, to try to share the resources of the space and equipment with others. And it's a very democratic, and they try to just engage with different communities, students and young artists. They have like a working model called Langbang, which is based on the communal warehouse intended for shared future use. So they also like make exhibitions and festivals to talk with other collectives on what kind of working model they use, and tries to form like a strong networks between different communities. So the last year, they did a thing, which is they said they said forget about art for a minute, for an hour, for a blink of time, because then maybe you can see the world in a much more useful and fruitful way, much more hopeful. I think we don't need to fight for the supremacy of art in that sense. The insecurity of that question to begin with, the existential insecurity of art. So what this means is, last year, after the COVID happened, they stopped their art practice, and they transformed their studio and equipment and everything to just become like an emergency kitchen to make food and to make food and send to the local communities, because at that time the food supplies were impacted a lot, and also they use their equipment to make the protection things for the locals. And so I think this kind of discussion on, okay, in the pandemic times, what artists can do, like art seems so useless in this kind of situation, like in the time that everything is affected so much. Artists doesn't really help people for this kind of urgent issues. And also, I think I remembered that the UK, I forgot who was trying to give support for the industry that are influenced by the COVID, but not including musicians, artists, and those things. And people asking, so what about the culture industry, and he was saying we only can give the things to jobs or people who are like, I don't know, who most needed these things. So I think this collective, I mean, not every artist should do what they did, but I think that's how they acted in the situation to be the part of the front line, to use their studio and equipment to try to help with the situation. Is I think I'm moved by that, and I agree with what they say, is that you often can create art like later, because art is not something you should defend it with, even it's not that useful. It still has its value, and but for now, like when the urgent situation happens, maybe we should help the local communities, but because artists are always should like connect with the local people. So I think I explained the middle part. So let's go back to your question. So the past is the Donna Haraway, and your question is where your practice would go. And you are talking about your practice is a lot of things are related to the materials and bodies, which I think is actually quite similar to what Haraway was talking about. In her book, the Staying with the Trouble, he invented the word Cthulhu, which is from a kind of spider, and she's the Cthulhu just means like the web created by the spider, and she said that humans are so connected with other creatures and our environments. Like nothing is like isolated. So I think it's probably relevant to your practice, that maybe what you were thinking in the past about how you can manifest this kind of connection in your painting, sculpture. And the present card, the Ruan Grappa, I think it's actually, it's about your practice is stopped by this kind of situation. There are more urgent issues to solve than art, and many things we can't do anymore. However, the arts will not just die. If we stay together as a community to share our resources to help people who really need help, it will become better. And the Dakar Art Summit, it's really emphasized with the kind of real life, the spontaneous discussions and encounters with people. Because the Dakar Art Summit, it has so many things is happening at the same time, and you just go to like random rooms and you get into discussion about different art problems. You are in so many ideas, and you exchange your ideas, issues with different people. And I think after the lockdown and this COVID situation is over, there will be like this kind of summit happen again in our life in the art world. And at that time, I think what you need for your practice is that you, even like in this kind of situation, you still need to stay connect with people, to exchange the ideas, to be still very active, even just through the online world. Like maybe every week, make like criticize about each other's work with your peers, and talk about what do you think, how art would be, and just if it's possible to do some collaborative work. Like for example, I feel it was really nice that I had the chance to collaborate with my MAFA peers for this festival. So because I think that the artwork only can be improved if you get the feedback, and we are often in the kind of stage of experimentation and exploration, and that's like very common with especially with like an emerging artist. We haven't have like a defined styles yet, and I think you like maybe not owning painting and sculpture, you can just experiment with anything you want to do, and to think about what the audience will, how would they react, and what do you want your audience to feel, what kind of discourse you want them to engage with after they checks your artwork. And I think the good thing about art for me is that it often can create discussion, and I'm always like interested in how art can engage with audience. Yeah, this is like my interpretation. Do you have like any questions?
No, just thank you so much. Like, I think having this has actually like reassured me a lot with this course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think like even you don't feel for example, because of we are not in studio, we can't talk with our peers as much. But for example, in the MAFA course, my peers created like a MAFA cafe that every morning we can meet with each other, and we like self-organize many activities that we can discuss about things. And I think that's is like very important to always like talk with people.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. Okay, and I think the time is up, and if anyone still want to like have a private session, you can message me, and we can talk after, because I think the motivation of me creating this, I think for me the prediction is like secondary, but what I like about what I want to do with this is, I think this serves as a chance to talk with people, to discuss about their art practice. And if it's for people who are not artists, it can engage with them about how they think about art. They as an audience, how do they understand it? And it's also, I think it's also kind of like a performative lecture. That's this card serves as like a chance to introduce like my research on the artists and academics with people. So yeah, anyone, if you have like any suggestions on how I can improve this performance, you can tell me. if not, I think, yeah,
I think you were absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Like you can really make a career out of it. The art oracle.
Yeah, I was thinking to add more cards in the deck. Then I will upload the deck as like a free source online, so people can download this, and I don't know, to use this deck to talk about art with others too. Thank you for everyone who has joined today. It was a pleasure to perform and discuss
this
with us. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. It was nice.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. See you guys.
See you. Bye.